Hello everyone. Hope everyone has good health in this COVID-19 crisis as the college is closed right now and the next situation is also unclear. So I have started giving online lectures of engine 1 to 1. So this is lecture number 13, that is contour, the definition of contour, the uses of contour and characteristics of contour. So there are very few questions that can be asked in end-sem exams, like the definition can come for just 1 mark, the characteristics of contour that was asked in previous year's end-sem exam, and the uses of contour or the purpose of contour can be asked in the end-sem exam. So we'll see what are the definition of contour one by one. So before starting with the contour, we have seen the chapter of surveying. What are the different types of surveying, like land survey, topographic survey, cadastral survey, engineering survey, city survey, marine survey, astronomical survey. All these surveys we have seen. So this contour survey is used in topographical survey. The topographical survey, it records the topography such as hills, valley, rivers and other features like roads, railways, towns, villages, buildings, etc. So this contours is very important in topographical survey. So the purpose of topographical survey is to get the necessary data to produce a topographic map of the earth survey. This map will include contour lines, the location of natural features such as streams, gullies, ditches and man-made features like bridges, roads, fences, etc., which are needful for detailed planning. The best practical method of presenting a topography is by using contour maps. So it gives an idea whether the ground is level or slope. If it is sloped, then how steep it is, that also is determined by contour. So we'll see the definition of contour. So as we can see, it is an imaginary line that joins the points of equal elevation, means the points which will have same elevation. The line which joins these points is called as contour line. In other words, contour is a line in which ground surface is intersected by a level surface that is obtained by joining points of equal elevation. So this line on the map represents a contour and is called as contour line. Also, a map showing contour lines is called as contour map. So everyone is clear about what is meant by contour. Next is the process of contouring. So the contouring process is the process of tracing the contour lines on the surface of the earth. Practically is called as contouring. So contouring is done on the field. Next we will see what is the purpose of contouring. So first motive is for preparing the contour maps, which will select the most economical or suitable site. It will also locate the alignment, means in which direction the canal should be located so that it will follow the ridge line. It will also show the alignment of roads, in which direction the roads should be built, and railways also, so that the quantity of earthwork means the amount of tar, timber also should be minimum in cutting and filling. It also shows for getting information about the ground, whether it is flat or whether it is slopy, undulating or mountainous. It will also show the information of the nature of ground. It will find the capacity of reservoir and the volume of earth which is required especially in mountainous region. So it will determine the capacity of a reservoir. It will trace out the given grade of a particular route. So it will trace out how the quality of the route can be. It will also locate the physical features of the ground such as pond depression, means how deep the pond should be, how is the hill, whether it is a hill, whether it is a steep slope or whether it is a gentle slope. After that, contour interval. So the contour interval is the vertical distance, constant vertical distance between the two consecutive contours. It is called as contour interval. Similarly, a horizontal equivalent is the horizontal distance between any two adjacent contours. Is called as horizontal equivalent. So these are certain definitions of the contours. Next important is the characteristics of contour lines. So first four characteristics are very easy to understand. So first characteristics is the definition of the contour. All the points in a contour line have the same elevation or equal elevation. Second, if the slope is gentle, means very minimum, it is indicated by the contours of which are widely separated, means the distance between the two consecutive contours is high, great. If it is steep slope, then the distance between the two consecutive contours is very less. If the slope is uniform, means slope is there but it is very uniform, constant, then the contours are uniformly spaced. That is, the distance between consecutive contours is equal. Also, a plane surface where the slope is 0 is indicated by straight, parallel and equally spaced lines. Next characteristic is a series of closed contour lines on the map represent a hill if the higher values are inside. So you can see this 80 is inside the contour and 60 is outside. So this higher value is inside and 60 is outside. So this represents a hill. Similarly, if higher values are outside, 80 is outside and 60 is inside, it represents a depression. Depression म्हणजे खड्डा. Similarly, if the higher values are, there is a bend. If there is a bend like map, if the higher values are inside the bend, so you can see 100 100 is inside the bend. This line is greater, this line is smaller. So this 100 is inside the bend and it forms a U-shaped structure. It forms a U-shaped structure and higher values are inside the bend. It indicates a ridge. So ridge is a top of the mountain. Similarly, if higher values are outside the bend, that is, you can see 100 is outside and 96 is inside, and it forms a V-shaped pattern. It represents a valley. Okay. Next characteristic is contours cannot end anywhere. They do not end anywhere but close on themselves, means they come to the original position either within the map or outside of the map. If the scale is small, then it can go outside the map, but they don't end anywhere. After that, contour lines cannot merge or cross another on a map. One exception is an overhanging cliff, so they don't merge or cross one another. So you can see this 200 and 250, this 200 and 250, they are merging or crossing one another. So this is a condition of an overhanging cliff. So you can see in the picture how is it, it is an overhanging cliff. So when they cross each other, it represents an overhanging cliff. Similarly, whenever they intersect into one point, it represents a vertical cliff. So they never run into one another except in case of vertical cliff. So you can see they have merged into one another. They have merged into one another. This is called as, this is the case of vertical cliff. So they have coincided into one another and the horizontal equivalent has become 0 because the distance between two consecutive contours is 0. And last characteristics is contour do not pass through permanent structures such as buildings. So this is a permanent structure, blue line, blue structure, and the contours cannot pass, but they do not pass through the permanent structure. So you can see it does not pass but just overside through this. Okay. And last point is what is the uses of contours. So it studies the general characteristics of the country, how what are the characteristics, where is the river, where is the forest, where are the buildings, where are the mountains. All these can be studied without physically visiting the ground. Second, it decides the sites where the site selection should be done for the engineering work such as reservoirs, canals, roads, railways on the basis of economy. Means what is the how much minimum amount the site should be selected, that can be done by a contour. After that, to determine the catchment area of the drainage basin and the capacity of the proposed reservoir. Suppose a reservoir has to be built, what will be the capacity of the proposed reservoir, that is determined by the contour survey. After that, it computes the earthwork, how much earthwork is required for filling and cutting along the linear alignment of the project such as canals and roads. If the roads are to be built, how much earthwork is required, that is computed by the contour lines. It finds the intervisibility of the points. If the 2 points are there in the contour map, it finds the intervisibility or connectivity of the 2 points by contour maps. It also traces out a contour gradient for road alignments. So it will trace out the gradient. Gradient means slope for the road alignments. It also draws longitudinal and cross sections to ascertain the nature of the ground. So what is the nature of the ground? That is determined by the cross section. Cross section means half section of the contour maps. So this was the lecture 13, that is the contours. So not much material can be not much questions can be asked. So these 3 to 4 questions can be asked in the end sem exam. Thank you.